Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kicks and Curve podcast. We are kind of back. So, we had the festive season, then me and Neil had the move, and then now we are in full swing in the middle of a wedding season. Um, Neil and I just finished attending two weddings that we had to, and Shakuni and Honey Badger couldn't make it for this recording because they have weddings to attend as well. So, it is going to be a little bit slow. I think I've seen this with us. It is usually like this during the heaviest the busiest time of the year in terms of football is also the busiest time of the year for us in terms of our social engagements. So yeah, but for all intents and purposes, for now we are back, and what a time to come back because we have a three-way fight for the F1 Drivers' Championship, which I think none of us would have expected. Uh, Halfway through the season, it seemed like it was either going to be Lando or Oscar, and it was most likely looking like Oscar, the Iceman. It just doesn't get phased. And then Baku comes along, and then I do not know what happened. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know. All of a sudden in Qatar, he is looking like himself when the team asked him to, help poor old dear Lando against Max, and all of a sudden he gets it on pole. But their own team fuck up the strategy and hand Max the win, which is now what, two races in a row. Vegas they got disqualified because of the plank, and yeah, a big, big, big strategy blunder in Qatar. Which I mean, I do not know what they were thinking because you know it's a 57 lap race. There's a 25 lap maximum on a tire. You get a safety car on the seventh lap, so you why would you not pit? Why would you not take a free pit stop when everybody else is going to pit? But and like what a way to underestimate Hannah Schmitz, the strategy goddess at Red Bull, like the ultimate boss woman who is going to find a solution. Even though I think some calls this year, Red Bull strategy was like the biggest one, which I think is kind of the nail in the coffin for Max if he doesn't win the title in Abu Dhabi, would be Spain, where he like rage crashed into George Russell, ended up losing a lot of crucial points. Because I think at that time even he was like, yeah, there's no way I'm coming back into this title, but thank you McLaren for your blunders, so that we now have a championship fight. Also, kind of also douchey of you to now wait until Qatar, or like wait until Lando was leading the championship for you to ask your second driver to play second fiddle to Lando. See, this is why I think they kind of want Lando to be the first winner with this new iteration of McLaren, and I get it. Like Lando has been their guy. Um, he trusted them when they were like kind of going through their resurgence, and hats off to them, they've built an incredible car. But yeah, I feel like this is not a team that's ready to win. Like the amount of mistakes in terms of strategy that we've seen, the whole papaya rule shenanigans, again, like from Oscar's point of view, I feel like did he really need to do the Monza thing? um and then the fact that the same thing did not happen in Silverstone. So like it is so difficult. I know in the last episode I think Shakuni said that it is going to look worse for Oscar because he had such a crazy lead, and now like he's sitting third in the championship as of right now. But I feel like a lot of us can see kind of like the favoritism. Like to an extent I get it, but at the same time I'm like, then stop flying this flag of like papaya rules fairness. It is so interesting because I think Zach Brown on Beyond the Grid said that they would rather lose the driver's title like in 2007 than prefer one driver over the other. Then why are you asking Oscar to help Lando, Zach Brown? Like, why are you doing that? Listen, I'm no fan of Lando. I really, really do not care. I would rather Max Verstappen win it. And yeah, it is shaping up to be like a very interesting Abu Dhabi. I'm going to see some first lap shenanigans. I hope for Max's sake that Fernando Alonso, Carlos, Mercedes. Um, I have no hopes from Ferrari. So I hope some of these people can be in the mix to kind of like create that gap. But like, if the McLarens are locked in, it is going to be very, very, very difficult because as of right now, I feel like but Lando would need to be like fourth or fifth, and Max need to win the race, or Oscar needs to win the race, and Lando should not be in top five for that to happen. And like, okay, Max, Lando, and who are going to beat? Maybe you can expect both the Mercedes to be in the mix. Maybe a cheeky Carlos Sainz top five finish again. But like, it's very difficult. And I think like after quali, and maybe like, after, I was thinking that, maybe like after watching quali or like the first couple of laps, I will be like, yeah, I know what the outcome of the championship is going to be. But McLaren has fucked up their strategy so much that anything can happen. Anything can happen. Like, it's not just, the pressure is not just on the drivers, it's also on the team to like execute their plans, react to what is happening properly, to be able to take advantages of the situations as and when they happen. I feel like right now McLaren's plan is like, we discussed this at the start of the race. Now does not matter what happens in the race, we are going to stick to the plan, which is like, the day when like we made fun of like Ferrari having like plan KLPD everything. um I feel like this is like the other extreme of that. It's like, we have this plan, we are sticking to the plan, does not matter what is happening. And then the other extreme is like, we have 50,000 plans and we've given a letter each. Now you're going to go and memorize it, and we are going to have long radio conversation where we are going to quiz you on whether or not you remember all these plans, and then we are going to pick the worst one that is going to undo all of your hard work throughout the weekend that you've put in. That's Ferrari. So yeah, um as a Lewis Hamilton fan, glad that this season is coming to an end, but also excited for what potentially could be one of the craziest Abu Dhabi races. And just for shits and giggles, let's bring back Michael Masi for this final showdown. Just why not? Like, let's just do that. Although it's like three white boys competing for a championship, so I don't know, or maybe we will know because of that. If Michael Masi is still Michael Masi's, then it's like, it's who he is. I don't know. I don't know, but like, yeah, it should be an interesting watch. And I think that is probably something that I will be concentrating on, because football right now is sad. Um, Arsenal leading, as always, they kind of seem unstoppable right now. City had an incredible 9 goal thriller against Fulham, which was like, can I just say, full paisa vasool. When you're up at 1 o'clock in the night here in India, and watching a game, that is the kind of game I want to watch. And we'll get to Liverpool. And Chelsea also again destroyed Barcelona. Great performance against Arsenal considering they were a man down. But then they lose to Leeds. And I have to appreciate this about Neil, because I asked him yesterday if he wanted to watch the match. He was like, listen, we've played 2 good games. There's a high chance that we are going to fuck it up and lose to Leeds. And that's exactly what happened. So he knows his team, which is something I really appreciate. Um, so yeah, that's what it is. And now let's talk about Liverpool, because like, it has been a while, and kind of been like a blessing in disguise that everything that we had going on in our personal life, and kind of because of that we're not able to make episodes and everything, it kind of came during that rough patch. Because um yeah, I don't think a lot of people would have liked my point of view, which is like, listen, I get it, there are not a lot of positives to take. This team is like, it does not look like our Liverpool, but at the same time, I do not mind a season of transition. Me personally, I do not mind a season of transition. You may disagree with it, and that's fine. So we get destroyed by PSV, we get destroyed by Man City, we get destroyed by Nottingham Forest, and you're like, what is going to happen now? Arne's job is on the line, and then we see like some sort of a resurgence against West Ham, and then we draw to Sunderland, which, it is insane that this is our first draw of the season. Listen, Sunderland has been doing exceptionally well this season. I don't think that justifies, like, yeah, I'll take a point, especially when you're playing at home. But for a team that has been in the form that we have been, I I would rather take a point than like lose all three. So you're again allowed to disagree with that, and like, it feels worse because Chelsea dropped points. At least Chelsea was the only team that dropped point. Arsenal did not, Man City did not. So in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it is looking like, okay, now this is more like, this looks like a season which is going to be like the race for top four. Um, because I think, like, what, it's 5 points between City and Arsenal. This is pretty much a City Arsenal fight. Now Chelsea is also like, what, 9 points behind, and we must be, what, 11, 12 points behind. So it is going to be between City and Arsenal. And for us, it is most likely going to be a race for top four. Like, we should make sure that we do qualify for Champions League. One way to do that is to win the Champions League. I know the PSV game was like worrying, but I feel like there's this something, I don't know, like, I know a lot of people, a lot of opinions on what is wrong with Liverpool. Tactics, individual players, like, we have no identity, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Like, I, I just think that it is something more intangible. This kind of like, how do I explain? How do I explain this with a pop culture reference? I don't know, but it's like it's something like that dressing room. The atmosphere in that dressing room is, I don't know, because like, to me, it's like, how are these same set of players in some way, shape, or form able to get results against like Real Madrid and Aston Villa and West Ham, and like, you all remember the first 5, 6 um games of the season where we would go up 2-0, then fucking lose that lead, and then come back and win. I feel like we used up all of our luck to win those 5, 6 games. Like, I think that luck that needed to be sprinkled throughout the season, I think we used all of that in those first 6 games. Because I feel like, particularly the PSV game and the Nottingham Forest game, I felt like I saw this team like give up their body language, their everything, like slouched heads down. Like, I feel like it is, yes, we can all be like, oh, tactics could be a problem, this could be a problem, that could be a problem. We don't know for a certainty that Arne Slot is like, don't press. And at the same time, like, the players, when they're doing a huddle in before the game starts, they can be like, F the plan, we are going to press and we are going to do things our way, and we don't agree with the manager's plan. So like, both of those things are possible. Like, I really want to know, like, is is why will our players not do that? If it is really, if it is a really this thing of like, that the tactics are wrong, these players have played enough to know what is going to work. These players have played a certain way that helped us win a title last season, so they know what is going to work. What is stopping them from doing that? What is stopping them from being like, fuck the manager's plan, you're going to do this? So I don't know. I don't know. Like, because I mean, I've done that when I've played basketball. Maybe it's not the same in football. I don't know. I'll probably ask Neil when he comes back home. But anyway, so yes, I get it. We're all frustrated, but for me, it was a positive yesterday. I've seen this team feel and look so dejected in the last couple of games that we've lost, that yesterday when we conceded, um, we didn't do that. We fought back. We got another goal. We came back into the game, and we made sure that we don't let them score. Even that like last minute, like injury time sprint by Chiesa. Oh, so good, so good. And yes, there are some things that you can question Arne Slot on. Um, to some of which I think I have an answer. With the Chiesa thing, right? I feel like the manager is kind of trying to protect him, because like Mo Salah is going to leave for AFCON. And I think that is when Chiesa will be used a lot. For a man who in the World Cup year is still saying no to the national team call-ups because of his fitness, there is more to the story than like Arne just doesn't want to start Chiesa. Like, this guy wanted to leave Liverpool in the summer because he was like, I'm not getting enough playing time and I want to play the World Cup. I won't get called. And even the Italian manager said that. And then the season starts. He's made a couple of cameos. He's made very good, successful cameos for us. Bournemouth game, and uh, what else? Yeah, he's playing for us. And he gets a call up, and then he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to come because I'm still not 100% where I need to be. So there's more to it than just Slot doesn't want to. Endo is the one that I would say is a little bit questionable, but I feel um like we saw him make this change. Okay, he was like trying to fit either Zobo or Curtis Jones on right back, and now he's kind of like resigned and then like, Joe Gomez has to start at right back. And even yesterday, when he had to sub Joe Gomez, he brought Curtis at right back and uh, not moved Soberslide there. So um, I I feel like at the Endo thing, yeah, okay. I think that is a questionable. That is the one thing that I will question him on. Look, he's dropped Salah. Everybody has been calling for his head. I think Chiesa is going to be used more when he's going when Salah is going to leave. I know everybody wants Hugo Ekitike to start, but then so like, what is the point of Isak? And we've had games where Isak has not started and Hugo has started, and we've still lost them. And there have been games where like Hugo has come on and like plenty of time to make an impact, and we've just not been able to. So it is not just a simple thing of like, okay, you can be like, oh, but yeah, by then we've not conceded. Yes, okay, that can make a difference, but like that is what I'm saying. Like that is what Mo Salah used to do for us. That is what Sane used to do. We had these game changers, and right now we don't have any. And I don't think it is the lack of creating. Yesterday we had 23 total shots. The problem was we had 4 shots on target. It's the quality of the shots is the problem for me. Yesterday I think I saw McAllister and Dominic Soboslai shooting from outside the box way too much, way too quickly. Like you just brought the ball to the edge of the box and you just decided to shoot. So like I don't know. Now, do I think a new manager is going to help? Listen, I think it would have helped if we can be like the managers lost the dressing room, which I don't think is the case for Liverpool. I don't think these players have lost faith in the manager. And at the same time, I feel like just bringing in another manager, like we do need some form of energy. We need a Klopp like figure or a Stevie G like figure to kind of bring that energy to like a Hendo or a Milner, like that kind of stalwart. I think Virgil this year looks like he's like crumbling under the weight of what he's having to carry in this team. So, and it's not the excuse that apparently I'm not allowed to use. It is also this run of form. It has also become like this kind of presence in the back of our players' minds. We have to build the resilience, we have to build that mentality. And it is not just going to be, it is not like these players have like amnesia and all of a sudden they've just forgotten. Like it's something that it's intangible. I don't think it is something tangible that you can change. So I feel like it is going to take a little bit more time. I feel like we just need to go on a run of form of like not losing. There's going to be a couple of draws, and yes, that is not what we need as defending champions, as somebody who want to retain our title, blah blah blah. That is not what we need right now. But I'm talking from a point of view of like just building the resilience of a team, because the same team, when they've not had the things going their way, have like lost. And so like, yes, you can sit here and say that that, oh, how far Liverpool have fallen, that you're happy with the draw. But like, you have to look at things in perspective. This team has come back from like one of the worst forms that they have had, that they've seen in recent years. And so yeah, you're damn right, I'm going to be happy with a draw. I'm happy with the fact that we conceded a goal and our heads didn't go down. I'm happy that we came back and we defended as a team, and we tried to win, and we kept on attacking and they defended with all their might. And yes, those are positives. Those are not going to be the positives that you expected, or they are like too slow for it, or they are like too few for you, and that is okay. For me, I do not mind giving this team one season to kind of sort themselves out. uh, and I don't mind giving this manager that time as well. Yes, you can talk about our business, you can talk about Luis Diaz, you can talk about a lot of things, but some things are done. And apparently it was Richard Hughes who wanted to do that sell. Like Arne Slot did not want to sell Luis Diaz. So now who are you going to blame? And yeah, like you should play Rio and Kumaha. So like, yes, okay. We are not going to get all of the answers. And even if we do get all of the answers, we are not going to. Why hasn't a journalist asked Arne Slot about why he's not playing Rio and Kumoha? I want to know. So it's okay. Now, as for like, again, I'm not a decision maker. I personally am not like Slot out. But if you were to bring somebody else, there's talks about Steven Gerrard as an interim manager. There's talks about if Xavi gets fired, then we get Xavi Alonso. There's talks of Iraola. There are talks of like Tuchel, Enrique, which I love the optimism of some of our fans. Or like Tuchel, why would he leave the England job? Like he's just about to go to the World Cup, and then we're gonna be like, no, Tuchel, this team, this national team that has not won a Cup since '63, you leave that and you come and coach Liverpool. Or Luis Enrique, this treble winning side that you have with PSG, you leave that and you come and manage Liverpool. That is like, you know, or like I don't know if Hansi Flick's name has been thrown in it or not. I don't think so. I don't think I've heard Hansi Flick, but like, yeah, I mean, the only thing I can see happening is Steven Gerrard. And again, listen, we are an emotional club and an emotional fan base, okay? Steven Gerrard, listen, I'm telling you, like, the glasses are going to be like rose tinted. You're going to have, like, it's Steven Gerrard, of course. Like, he's going to be given a lot more leeway, and it is going to be like the comparison thing. Now, I think this is exactly what is killing Slot. We had Klopp, and like because he's not doing things the Klopp way, and now the results are also poor. Now it's like he's not the man. And if Steven Gerrard comes in, well, at least it's not as bad as Slot. Even if we're not doing the best that we can, if it is not as bad as Slot, Stevie G is fine, and he's going to get that because he's Steven fucking Gerrard. He's a legend. He's the most beloved player that has ever played for Liverpool in the Premier League era. So yeah, in these comparisons are going to kill the manager. Listen, I don't, and again, like I don't know if it is different when a manager has lost the dressing room, and like for then if the manager gets sacked, maybe it's different for the players. But like for our players, I don't think they've lost faith in Slot. So for them to have like a mid-season manager change, and then for them to have that guilt of like, oh, if we had only played better, if we had done these things differently, because we've seen a lot of like individual mistakes as well. So I don't feel like firing a manager is the way forward. um I know it is difficult to be patient right now, but I think that we need to build that resilience, that mentality again. We've had a lot of attrition in the team. We are going to have to change the way we play, because like the creativity is not going to come from fullbacks. Like there's a reason Trent was like one of the best right backs. You know, we're not like, other than Reece James, who is a Trent like right back that we have. The fact that Bradley and Frimpong can't stay fit to save their lives, not have a consistent starting right back. We have to kind of like, even Kirkes, I think like in some of the recent games, he's not looked worse. Again, this is what I'm saying. Like I've always said this ever since this thing started. Like the Dominic Soboslai this season was not the Dominic Soboslai the first season we bought him. Like he's a massively different player. He's improved. So there is room for improvement. We've bought in a lot of young players, and they're going to need time. And I know that the results seem really bad, but because Arne is not doing it the Klopp way, and we know the Klopp way was successful, so therefore it must be wrong. There is a reason why Jurgen Klopp is one of a kind, and it's because he's one of a kind. I'm not saying no other manager can play heavy metal football. I'm saying that it was the whole package, the style of football, the energy, the charisma of the man, the personality, the character that he had. It was all a package deal. It was like we got all of it. It is not just going to be like a manager who's not the Klopp character is not going to motivate this team into playing that heavy metal kind of football. I don't know, I heard one of the was it Ox Chamberlain who said that like Klopp's pre-match like dressing room talk used to be like a war like thing, like you're going to war or something like that. And like we've not played heavy metal football. Even last season we did not play heavy metal football. We were controlled, we were more we were slower, calmer, we took our time and everything, and we won a title. You can be like, oh, but Arsenal were not there, City were not there. Oh, so then it's the same for Arsenal this year because City and Liverpool are not there. This is just insane logic. Fine, it's okay. But like, again, I'm telling you this, with a manager like Klopp leaving, if Liverpool brought in somebody who tried to be Klopp, wouldn't have worked. They brought in somebody who was kind of like diametrically opposite to Klopp in terms of his character. and we kind of like bought into it, got a title. We listen, it's maybe just me, it's this is the way I support any team, okay, with the assumption that I don't know everything, and with the assumption that, I don't think any professional athlete, uh any professional team manager, coach, anybody is going into a game to lose. It is totally possible to get things wrong. It is possible to make mistakes, and it is possible to learn and improve as and when you gain more experience. And that is what is happening with our team and our manager, our coach. He's not the manager, he's the coach. So I personally am okay if this team takes a little bit of time. I just hope that, like, top four, unless we win the Champions League, okay, which, I mean, I wouldn't say no to that, but and I do think that this team will come through. Um, I do feel like we will figure it out. I do feel like we need a couple of signings, but at the same time, again, it's the same thing. I said even during the summer transfer window, I was like, I don't want a single player in this team that Arne does not want to use. Nobody should be like, I am not going to use this player. And maybe that's a learning for Arne as well. He has said that he's relied on a core of players last season, and so he's trying to change that. So, let's give him grace. He's not learning as quickly as we might want him to. Um, Especially when it comes to, like the Endo thing, the fact that McAllister is not doing that great, and like there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things, guys. This- I'll just, in the end, I will just say this: I'm going to support any player that has the live bird on their chest. Anybody who plays with the badge of my club on their chest, I'm going to support him. And any coach or manager who's managing that team, I'm going to support them. You are allowed to disagree with that. You're allowed to have a different opinion than that, and that is okay. All I say is, please use your words carefully when you are talking about it. Please make your content with the assumption that our coach, our players can and will listen to it. You can be critical, but that does not mean you have to be an asshole. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to see. Gonna try and be as regular as I can with these episodes. I'm going to make sure that Shaguni and Honey Paja come back as soon as possible. I'm going to make sure Yanil also participates in these recordings. And yeah, until next time, I guess. Bye.